If it says Republican, yes.
Like, why are they taking
As soon as the Democratic candidates like that's so much. Why not attend? Like
That one. It's a Republican issue. At least I saw you. Yeah, but I was so we're like,
Spots.
We've already watched that show.
not only that, if you just take casinos out of the equation, like all in favor, the legislation.
So I the other
So 7 a.m. 7 a.m. What about Saturday morning?
I call this meeting to order at 5:00 p.m. So we will start with a roll call, so if you'll make sure to turn your voting devices on. And once it's turned on, you can press any button to submit your name for roll call. So it didn't pick everybody's up, so Karan's going to do a roll call through an Excel sheet.
Mavis.
Here.
Marty. Here. Kale. Here. Cheek. Here. DeLuca. Here. The Persian.
Here.
Barton.
Here.
Galarza.
Here.
Spears.
Here.
Golden.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Ryder. Ryder. No. Ayers. Ivy. Jones.
Here.
Kilgore.
Here.
Little.
Here.
Lockett.
Here.
Marbley here. McGarity.
Here.
Moore. Here. Moore. Here. Morris. Here. Patel.
Here.
Al.
Here.
Crocus.
Here.
Ramirez.
Here.
Okay. Sanders.
Here.
Scaife.
Here.
Stephon. Stephen. Spurgeon.
Here.
Street.
Here.
Teeter.
Here.
Irion.
Here.
Triple.
Here.
To the real. Wakesman.
Here.
Weston.
Here.
Wilson. Young.
Here.
If there are no objections, we'll approve the minutes as distributed from last week's meeting. Are there any students for open forum? We have no presenters this evening, so I'll go into my report. So the first thing we're going to do is, if I can get the slides to advance. So I currently sit on the co-curricular badging committee. So the co-curricular badging committee needs, sent out a survey and got 300 faculty, staff, and community partners to respond, but only had 6 students respond and take the survey. So they need survey results from students to be able to model and mold this co-curricular program the way that students want to see it kind of play out. So if I can get this to pull up, there is a QR code. So if you have your phone, and we'll scan this QR code to take this survey, so that the committee can get survey results directly from students. And then Dr. Wendenfei in the Office of Student Success is also reaching out to several freshman students in FYS courses to take the survey as well. So if you've taken this survey before, if you're a freshman student and have taken it in one of your FYS courses, then you won't need to take it. But if not, here you go. And then it will also be included in the minutes. So if you don't have your phone or you can't get the QR code to work, there will also be a link attached. So please make sure that you take it at some point tonight. It's pretty critical that the committee gets this survey, all of these survey results in, so that they can formulate their report to move forward with the rest of the progress in their committee. The next thing is party at the polls. So tomorrow is election day. And as we've kind of been building up momentum, Senator Kilgore has been building up some momentum, we are doing a party at the polls. So there will be a location outside of the Student Center at the shuttle stop and also at the Donaghy Greens, so that green space right beside Donaghy Hall. As you're all aware, the new voting site will be under Donaghy Hall where the bicycle trek store used to be on the northeast side of the building. So I'm going to pass out party at the poll sign-up sheets again. Just confirm that you are still going to work the time that you signed up for. And then if you have some availability for any of the open spots, please sign up for those. SGA and Bear Advocacy Group will be responsible for working the Student Center table with the Ideal Freshman Leadership Team. And then Barradian, Vote Everywhere, along with another conglomerate of student organizations, will be working the actual major party place at Donaghy Hall. So more information to come when Senator Kilgore gives her report. The next thing, Safe Walk. So if you all remember when Chief Murgy and Captain Bentley came in at the beginning of the semester to kind of report out what PD's been working on, something that they mentioned was Safe Walk. So this is an initiative that, in tangent with the physical plant, the police department, do every fall, and then they do one every spring, where members of the UCA community, so faculty, staff, students from SGA, as well as executive staff, kind of all work with PD and physical plant to do a walkthrough of the university. And it's to identify any potential safety concerns. This could be lighting, problems with sidewalks, potholes in the streets. We've been getting a lot of rain, so issues with flooding, anything like that. This is our opportunity to voice those concerns directly to PD and physical plant, and it becomes the basis of conversation within the University Safety Committee to make recommendations to the physical plant on what is like high-level needs to be repaired or fixed immediately, and what is going to be ongoing. So I'll also be passing a sign-up around for that. It is this Thursday, November the 8th, from 6 to 8 p.m. You'll need to arrive at UCA PD at 5:30, and that's when you'll be assigned to the location of campus that you'll be doing a walkthrough with. So if you're available, that would be great. If you can't stay the full 2 hours, if you could only stay from like 6 to 7, that's perfectly fine, just as long as you can be there and participate, because they look forward to having student input every year for Safe Walk. Our next presidential town hall is next Wednesday, November the 14th at 5:30 in Student Center Room 214. The Minority Mentorship Program is our co-sponsor for this presidential town hall. The link to the Google form questionnaire was included in the minutes last week. It'll also be included in the minutes this week. So please make sure that you're submitting questions, that you're reaching out to your constituents to send questions, because these are very important both to SGA and to President Davis as they move forward with different strategic goals for the university, and then of course answering any student concerns, addressing student concerns that come up throughout the year. So just kind of keep on track with that. Last thing, just to kind of go over some accomplishments. So we've done quite a bit this semester so far, and as we're kind of winding down, I think it's important for us to take time to really reflect on what we've done as an organization to keep building on that momentum as we launch into the spring semester. So far, we've allocated $6,600 to Bare Boots on the Ground initiatives. So congratulations. That's a great cause for our organization to support, and I know it means a lot to everyone that coordinates and collaborates to work on these Bare Boots on the Ground alternative breaks. So we passed a resolution in support of encouraging students, faculty, and staff of UCA to vote on Election Day. In tangent with that, we had members of SGA Fair Advocacy Group also sit on a voter engagement task force with Vote Everywhere, some members of administration, to really work on our voter engagement initiatives this fall. So out of that, we were able to register over 200 students to vote in Faulkner County this year. So that's a great accomplishment as well, and that work doesn't go unnoticed. Fall convocation. So the work that SGA started last year came to fruition this fall with the re-implementation of the fall convocation. So we were able to put a program together for UCA's over 2,000 entering freshmen, welcome them to our campus, make sure they felt integrated in, as well as provide them with some information about what SGA is and what we do. So that was a great kind of milestone that we worked toward for a year, and it finally came to fruition this fall. The President and Vice President Williams raved about how successful that convocation was, and they were very impressed to see so many freshman students turn out for that event. So good job there. Fair Advocacy Group, in tangent with some of their voter engagement initiatives, also showed a documentary on voter suppression. So very successful. We're very proud that they were able to work with Dr. Leslie Graybill in outreach to bring that together. Super huge success. We've hosted one presidential town hall. So we had over 40 questions submitted for the first town hall. So I hope to see at least 40 submitted for this one, if not more. President Davis enjoys hosting these town halls, these forums, to really address student concerns to students via the live stream, as well as the students that participate and attend the event. So thank you to, and I believe Vice President McGarity will touch in a little more on this, but we participated and sponsored a civility circle on race this semester. So shout out to Vice President Marbley and his work through the diversity committee for SGA to be a part of that conversation and that event as well. And then Vice President McGarity, while she was serving as Vice President of Operations, put together an SGA promo video. So she worked really hard to really educate students, faculty, and staff about what SGA is, the work that we do, and why the influence that we carry is so important to changing the culture of our campus. So I say that to remind you that we have 2 meetings left. So keep up the good work. We've accomplished a lot so far, and really keep building on this momentum so that when we come back in January, we're prepared to keep pushing forward and making progress for everything that we've set out to do this year. So I just want to say thank you for all of the work that you're putting in on your university committees, on your SGA committees, and working with all of us to get all of these very lofty goals accomplished. So give yourselves a round of applause. What questions do you have? Vice President McGarity.
Hi everyone. I want to thank our ideal pages today, Dylan and Isaiah for being here, and then shout outs. Over the last few weeks, I have some senators on command for their hard work. I want to recognize Senator Ramirez and Senator Morris for attending the Civility Circle on race. They were some of the only students that we had attend this event, so thank you guys for that. I also want to recognize Senator Therion for his diligent work while serving on the appointment committee. He put in a great amount of efforts into deciding who the committee should appoint as a union class representative. and rules and ethics. So when you guys are submitting merit appeals, make sure you include as much information as possible in the forms, because this helps the committee make a decision whether or not to approve the appeal. The holiday banquet, I'm going to pass around a sign-up sheet, but it's December 3rd. We're still having an SGA meeting at 5 p.m. that day, and then the banquet starts at 6 o'clock and goes until 7:30 p.m. It's at the president's house. You can just walk over or drive over after the meeting. The dress code is business professional, so you can wear holiday colors if possible, and you can bring a +1, so make sure you put that alongside your instructions on the sign-up sheet. It's a required event though, so you have to sign up. And then leadership quotes. Ms. Starr shared this quote with me. It's a pretty cool quote. It's by Kate Shepard. And it says, "The rain that refreshes the parched ground is made of single drops." So each one of you contributes and impacts SGA in this university. So don't underestimate your worth or your abilities.
What questions do you have for Vice President McGarity? Vice President Martley?
Alright, so last week we ended off with Mindy Pipkin for Meet the Administration, which is our Associate General Counsel and Title IX Coordinator. And this week, it won't let me press present, so we don't get to have a little more fun. But we have Ms. Susan Lilly, which is President Davis Administrative Assistant. Pam T, the Director of Special Events. Mr. Ronnie Williams, the Vice President for Student Services and Institutional Diversity. And Ms. Diane Newton, the Vice President of Finance. So, Senator Fun Day. This senator has ran a marathon and is colorblind. Senator Parker.
Senator Kale.
Yes, it is. Come get your merit-free card. Clap. So for Senator of the Week, this senator was nominated because she is a hard worker and reflects our core values. She consistently goes above and beyond to do her part and does extra research in what she is looking for. She is timely and eloquent with her emails and always comes to meetings with new updates and a positive attitude, and is doing amazing with the food drive. So Senator Beavers, you got Senator of the Week.
What questions do you have for Vice President Martley? Vice President Burton.
How are y'all doing this evening? Hopefully everybody got to enjoy homecoming. So I've got another thing. Remember, of course, the red flag is coming up the week of November 13th. I'm going to pass around a sign-up sheet again. If you were on the original sign-up sheet, do feel free to put your name on this again. But for anyone that had availability change over the course of the last week, if you have time in your schedule and would like to attend, really anything or volunteer time, I'd be appreciative. I'm sure Senator Sander would as well. So that's going to be really neat. Be watching out for an email, mass email out tomorrow about that program. How many of you have seen the posters around in the Student Center? Other places? There should be in other places too. So really the goal is to get people thinking about what unhealthy relationships are and talking about them through this different kind of medium. If you notice on the posters, they'll have a red flag and then a bystander response to that red flag. Some of them are kind of neat. So if you're passionate about it, put your name on there. I'd love to have it out there. In addition, I've just got this little projects point. Like President Edgar Lucero said earlier, we only have 2 meetings left. And I know there's several projects floating around that involve some high dollar amounts. And really those working on them, I'd like to encourage you to get with your committees, formulate committee works, have all of your questions answered, draft something tangible. I think the most effective form of communicating a project, in my personal opinion, and in practice, is just a 1 or 2 page document outlining all the questions and concerns anyone could ever have. that you can reasonably foresee. And then let's talk about the feasibility of those projects, because some of them are feasible and now some of them aren't. But really, with 2 meetings left, we can get some of them through, but not the majority of them. So a lot of the projects I hope will be continued to be worked on through the winter break, and then come out strong in the spring with plans solid that we can vote on. So that's all I've got. A little bit of encouragement because there's potential there. I know there's projects floating around.
What questions do you have for Vice President Burton? We'll go into standing committee reports. Academic Affairs, Senator Abbey.
All right, this past week we did not meet in person. We were finalizing our food drive information and things we were doing. We've obtained the boxes for drop-off. We have communicated with our residential colleges as well as our deans to see where to put those boxes. And we also have a flyer for the food drive now. The food drive is going to be this coming week, November 12th through the 16th. And these flyers will be included in the minutes of the meeting.
What questions do you have for Senator Abbey? Internal Affairs, Senator Lockings.
Okay, so today me and my committee didn't meet because I thought we were taking composites. And when those were canceled, I figured I'd just give my committee a break. So we're going to be presenting our motion today for the previous notice of last week. We'll get into discussion of that when we do it. And I am still working with Senator DePersia on aligning how we're going to possibly make student resources a standing committee.
Awesome. What questions do you have for Senator Lockings? Housing and Food Service, Senator Kale.
We met with Jim Neighbors on Friday and we discussed a lot, and if I read you every single bullet point on my minutes, it would probably be an hour long. So I'm just going to give you some highlights. If you have any questions, I have them right here. So we are revisiting the reusable to-go box idea from last year, and we have last year's survey, and right now my committee is working on a preface for clarity in case there's any confusion from the students, so they know like what this would mean. We asked about the smoothie bar, and he said that hasn't worked in years past, so we may not do that, but he did say that there are 3 locations on campus that serve smoothies, which are both the iScience and Starbucks, so that's a thing. We asked about fresh fruit in the CAF, and he said that that is totally attainable. He will work on doing that, so that's really exciting. I asked about more gluten-free options, and he recommended me to ask disability services and the earmarked dietitian of how many students actually suffer from celiac disease. And then I also mentioned that some Starbucks rewards for gold card members aren't really being fulfilled, and he isn't sure why that's happening. And so he's investigating that. And he also said that the timeline with Pizza Hut is coming to an end in April, and it's going to be replaced with Oak Pizza, which is like something that Airmark is doing, and it's similar to Blaze. So, yes.
What questions do you have for Senator Kale? Diversity, Senator Ramirez.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today's diversity quote is, "Why fit in when you were born to stand out?" And that's come from Dr. Seuss. So we had our diversity meeting last Thursday at 7. So our diversity meeting will be every Thursday from 7 for the rest of the semester. So our objectives for it is from all participation from SGA members and non-SGA members. Not only promoting and practicing diversity, but also learning more about it. So that's going to be a really big thing that Miss Charlotte and I talked about was we promote diversity, but why not also learn more about it so that we can also be much more educated. So this week, I'm currently researching and writing a proposal for exec committee to get a book so that we can learn more about diversity with that. So I'm working on that this week. And so update with Dr. Mark Orbe. So last week I talked to Mr. Anthony McMullen from Faculty Senate, and he directed me to Dr. Candace Barnes from College of Education for civility training to really understand what faculty would want from this presentation. And then this Wednesday, UCA and Diversity SGA is doing Civility Circle, talking about politics. So it's this Wednesday from 5 to 6:30 at McCaslin Ballroom. It was a really great discussion last week, and I would like to do more And I would like to see much more SGA members attend the event. So that's the end of my report.
What questions do you have for Senator Ramirez? Student Fee Advisory Committee, Senator Teeter.
All right. So you all guessed it, we had another SFAC hearing, action-packed. We did the access and security fee with Captain Chris and the technology fee with Mr. Mike Lloyd. And once again, we taken Tuesday off for election day, and then we'll be back at it Thursday at Experience. So that's all I got.
What questions do you have for Senator Teeter? We'll go into ad hoc committee reports. Bear Advocacy Group, Senator Kilgore.
All right, so big days tomorrow, election day. There's that motivation there. So an email went out this afternoon to the student body. So you should have gotten that. So if any of your constituents have questions about the logistics, you can tell them to check their email. It'll be there. But if not, here are the logistics. So you can vote tomorrow from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. At the Donahue polling site. Or if you're registered in Faulkner County, you can vote at any polling location in Faulkner County. If you're registered in your hometown, your polling place should be open from around 7 to 7, so you can make arrangements to drive home. And 9 to 4 tomorrow, there's going to be a party at the polls. Word on the street is, it's true. There's going to be puppies and pizza and food and music and prizes and lots of fun stuff going over there. So be sure to check that out for sure. SGA and BAG, we're going to be hosting a table in the Student Center from 9 to 4 to remind people to go vote, to tell them why voting is important, and to remind them about the polling place. And we really, really need volunteers. So if you are able to, just swing by the table, say hi, talk to some students, and be sure to check out Donahue tomorrow. So that's all I have. Did I leave anything out, President?
Okay. What questions do you have for Senator Kilgore? Thank you. Senator Weston.
I have one. It's a fun question. Do you know if the pizza's going to be there all day? Or?
Ooh, that's above my pay grade. But there should be food there all day and fun all day. That's for sure, and democracy. So that's for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. What other questions? Senator Harris.
You want me to like edit my flyer again? So there's gonna be puppies. I feel like that bring a lot more people because that made me really excited. So.
You don't have to edit the flyer this late in the game because Vote Everywhere, who's kind of the main host about it, has put flyers on the Student Center screens and around campus. So I think okay.
What other questions do you have? Senator DeLuca.
Where are the puppies going from?
Oh my goodness. So I guess full disclaimer. So BAG, our part of this was just to like organize the vans and have the table at the Student Center and like let people know. And Vote Everywhere is the sponsor. So Senator Galarza probably knows a lot about it. She's a Vote Everywhere ambassador. But yeah, there will be puppies though.
Senator Galarza.
Can I answer this question?
You can.
Okay, so last I heard, the other ambassador, Corbin, was supposed to contact the animal shelter here in Conway about bringing some of their dogs that are available to adopt to come up there. And then I think Mr. and Mrs. the therapy dog for occupational therapy is supposed to be approved. Forgot it was Mr. She will be there.
Senator Skate.
Did you say that for volunteers to just come and talk to the students, or is there a sign-up sheet for that?
Yes, so the sign-up sheet went around a little bit earlier. It might still be going around. But if you can come see me after Senate or President Edgar Lucero. Yeah, there's the sign-up sheet. And we'll get that all coordinated. And I think you get a free t-shirt for volunteering. So that's also a thing.
So Vote Everywhere very quickly rushed to get a design through the Outreach and Community Office. So if you volunteer tomorrow, you do get a very, very cool t-shirt. They actually look really cool. So they've got like 2 purple bears on them, and then it says something like I voted or Election Day 2018 or something. So yes, if you volunteer, your shirt size, some of you, your shirt sizes that you've already committed to volunteering, your shirt sizes have been turned in. So hopefully they'll have shirts tomorrow, but if not, you'll get them afterwards. So. What other questions? Senator DePersia.
Sorry, I may have just missed it, but if we're volunteering, where are we meeting at?
In the Student Center, downstairs in the lobby. There's supposed to be 3 tables. One of them is ours. I'm going to figure that out in the morning. But certainly we'll be downstairs in the Student Center. Find us.
What other questions do you have? Thank you. Community engagement, Senator Sander.
So I'm not going to repeat everything Red Flag campaign. So this week, community engagement kind of partnered with President Andrew Sarah with the food bank, and we paid a visit to the food bank. It's kind of an undercover boss thing. It was kind of fun. And we discussed kind of what we want to fix about it. And the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems, is they're very small. If you've ever been to the food bank, it's a tight space. There's 3 of us in there, and it got crowded. So we're kind of working on a resolution to help them with that. And Senator Emilio, he drafted that, and we'll be seeing that soon. So good job to him. And to my committee, we're meeting tonight after Senate in food court. It'll be short. That's it.
What questions do you have for Senator Sander? Student Resources, Senator DePersia.
Senator Kill and I met last week and mapped out the best pricing for the feminine products on campus. So watch out for that next week whenever we present that to you guys. Printers are being considered for the academic buildings, and we're also mapping out where to want to go. That's it.
What questions do you have for Senator DePersia? Sustainability, Senator Street.
Good evening. I hope everyone had a great weekend. So we are meeting with Adam Hensley, who's the Director of Recycling and Waste Management, tonight at 7 o'clock. People on Sustainability Committee. Anyone's welcome to come in with that if you have any questions or concerns and just I guess general want to know about recycling on campus. Another kind of more important thing is, unfortunately, due to my scheduling and everything, I don't know if anyone has seen me over the past 2 months, running around like crazy, not sleeping. Yeah. So I will be stepping down from my chair position and I will be going to Senator Karen Spears. Senator Spears. So congratulations to him. He's going to do a fantastic job. I wrote on my mind. It's a committee that deserves a lot of attention and time, which I don't have to commit to that at this time, and it's rather unfortunate. I really care about it, but yeah. So stop trying and thank you so much.
What questions do you have for Senator Street? Any university committee reports? Senator DePersia.
Vice President McGarry and I met last week with the Committee on Committees, and basically the goal of the committee is to review all of the committees and make sure that all of the spots on them are full and they approve the members on it. And so we kind of just looked through every one of the committees, and most of the work was already done whenever we got in there to make sure everyone, all of them were filled. So the only ones that they have questions on were the co-curricular badging committee, and they're thinking about revising it to add more students to it because right now it's really faculty heavy. And then also the students something in retention council, that's under revision and that's under filter.
Any other university committee reports? Any unfinished business? Senator Lawkins.
I move that the UCA SGA amend Article 5, Section 9, Letter E to be in alignment with the Office of Scholarship and Compliance.
Second.
Yeah.
It has been moved and seconded that the UCA SGA amend Article 5, Section 9, Letter E to be in alignment with the Office of Scholarship and Compliance. Discussion on the motion, Senator Lawkins.
So this is another one that was very thick, and I have it if anybody wants to look at a copy, but it was also sent out in the meeting minutes. And it was brought to my attention by Advisor Strickland that after her Office of Scholarship and Compliance training, that every organization in RS on campus should have a removal of scholarship information within their constitution or organizational document, and we didn't have one. So this is just us putting that in there.
Any other discussion on the motion? It has been moved and seconded that the UCA SGA amend Article 5, Section 9, letter E to be in alignment with the Office of Scholarship and Compliance. You may cast your vote. Was everyone's devices turned on? We're going to try this one more time and do a revote because it only captured 16 votes. So please make sure that your device is on and that you are pressing either the green, red, or yellow button on the device. So because we're having technical difficulties, we're going to do a roll call vote. So again, it's been moved and seconded that the UCA SGA amend Article 5, Section 9, letter E to be in alignment with the Office of Scholarship and Compliance. Roll call vote, Vice President Markley.
Beavers.
Yes.
Burton.
Yes.
Kale.
Yes.
Cheek.
Yes.
DeLuca.
Yes.
The Persian.
Yes.
Farnham.
Yes.
Galarza.
Yes.
Spears.
Yes.
Golden.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Ivy.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kilgore.
Yes.
Little.
Yes.
Lockett.
Yes.
Marbley. Yes. Garrity.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Moore. Morris. Patel.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Crocus.
Yes.
Ramirez.
Yes.
Ramirez.
Yes.
Sander.
Yes.
Skate.
Yes.
Stephon.
Yes.
Spurgeon.
Yes.
Street.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Darian.
Yes.
Tribble.
Yes.
Tudoril.
Yes.
Whitesmith.
Yes.
Weston.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
With 41 yeses, 0 nos, and 0 abstentions, the motion passes. Any other unfinished business? Any new business? Senator Teeter.
All right. I move that the UCA SGA adopt a resolution entitled Honoring UCA Veterans.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the UCA SGA adopt the resolution titled Honoring UCA Veterans. Discussion on the motion, Senator Teeter.
All right. So you should all have it in front of you. This is the same one that we passed last year. I just want to remind all of our students that we support our veterans here on campus and the sacrifice they make in their daily lives. Whereas throughout our country's history, generations of UCA men and women have answered the call to leave their families, their jobs, and put their futures and even their lives on the line to valiantly defend our nation and its inalienable rights. Whereas for many, that sacrifice has ended in a permanent injury and the continued preservation of our freedoms and the promise of liberty. Whereas we owe a debt of gratitude to our veterans and wish to express our appreciation to all veterans for their selfless service to the United States. And whereas the Student Government Association also wishes to honor the memory of all those who have given their lives while serving our nation in the armed services, therefore be it resolved that the Student Government Association of the University of Central Arkansas expresses a profound gratitude and appreciation to all the men and women who have served and are currently serving our nation in the armed forces. And this should be great considering that our Veterans Ceremony is on Thursday during next period, and that Veterans Day is on Sunday. Thank you.
Other discussion on the motion? It has been moved and seconded that the
Motion to approve by unanimous consent.
motion passes. Any other new business? Any announcements? Senator Abbey.
I need someone to fill in for me this next week for student course eval committee. The meeting will be November the 15th next period because I have SFAC hearing, so I need someone else to contact me.
Senator Ramirez.
Hi again. Same committee. I will be out of town, so I cannot attend it. Someone can fill in for me as well.
Any other announcements? Vice President McCarty.
Rules and ethics, don't forget we're meeting after Senate in chambers.
Vice President Burton.
Were any of y'all by chance able to attend Senator Bozeman's visit last Thursday? Do you want to report on it then?
So as Vice President Burton mentioned last week, we had Senator John Bozeman as well as a representative from the Library of Congress, the director that is responsible for the Veterans History Project. On campus, they did a presentation in the boardroom in Wingo Hall to talk about updates to that project and what Arkansas has been able to contribute because of the work that UCA does. So they reported out that we are currently the only institution that participates in this project through the Library of Congress. So they gave great praise and accolades to UCA for the work that we're doing, working with the veterans in our community. And the director for the Veterans History Project said if anyone is in DC and happens to stop by the Library of Congress and would like a personal tour of the Library of Congress, to hit her up and she will gladly give that tour to anyone that's there. So she was very excited and very passionate about veterans history and was able to actually meet a few of our veterans that live in College Square. They came over to the presentation and met Senator Bozeman and the director. So it was a really good presentation, gave a lot of information about what we've been doing as an institution to support that project and that initiative through the Library of Congress. Any other announcements? Okay. Two things. One, will the Academic Affairs Committee please stay after Senate to meet with me for about 10 minutes to discuss some things for the food fight competition next week? The other thing, if you volunteered for the Civility Circle on Politics, Safe Walk, the Red Flag Campaign, or the voting party at the polls table for next week, would you please stand? If you volunteered for any of those events. Thank you so much. For those of you that are still sitting, if you have availability in your schedule for any of these events, please, please, please sign up, even if it's only for an hour. Many of these are SGA sponsored activities and events, so it's crucial and critical that senators are actively participating in these events and making a good showing, as well as reaching out to your constituencies and making them aware of these events as well. So for those of you that volunteered, thank you for your service once again. For those of you that are still seated, if you have availability in your schedule, even if it's just an hour and you can only do one of these 5 events, please, please, please sign up. Vice President McGarity and I will have all the sign-up sheets up here so you can see us afterwards. you. Any other announcements? Vice President Marbley.
PR committee, please fill out the Google form, your emails, please. Thanks.
Any other announcements? This meeting is adjourned.
Yeah,